drop for your Thursday thoughts. John here, you there, and it's going to be your big Thursday, as we always do, with a bit of a twist. Hour number 2 is what it always is, the Power Hour with Nino and Niko. We've got stuff to get into overseas, specifically with our buddy from Gold TV, Nino Torres, the ongoing saga of Victor Gyökeres. Is he or isn't he? And for how much is he, if he in fact is? We get into that. And also Dario Sugo has made his way from Portugal to Chelsea. That'll be our end point. Obviously, we'll talk about CONMEBOL qualifying. We'll go over what's happening. Nino might be wearing black. We'll find out in hour number 2. Then after that, it's our buddy Niko Moreno from Sounder at Heart and from Pulso Sports. We'll get you ready for the weekend in Major League Soccer. And we'll talk Club World Cup because of Seattle's involvement in it, where things are, what the vibe is, all that kind of stuff. As once again, we are being told that ticket prices are being hit again when it comes to the dynamic ticket pricing element that is attached to the Club World Cup. And right now you can get in the door for pretty decent prices if you kind of keep an eye on things. The folks at FIFA, they are concerned about getting in the door and being there for the tournament opener, where there would be empty seats at Hard Rock for Messi and friends coming up at the beginning of the tournament. They're looking for full buildings, and they're looking to try and find out what in the wide world of sports is going on and why aren't people buying tickets at these prices that are exorbitant and extreme, and why aren't they buying them for their clubs over and over and over again for a tournament? Why aren't you buying them for the group stage and then buying them for the knockouts? Because you want to see teams that aren't yours. So we'll find out. That is in hour number 2. Wasting no time for opening kickoff. Wow. Brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. There are a couple things to discuss right here, but this is your QR code for our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Hit that QR code, and it takes you to our friends at Kickoff Coffee. We encourage you to buy out the store, but you can do that at 15% off when you check out. Use the code SoccerDownHere15. You get 15% off your purchase. They, in turn, take 10%. Reinvested into youth games, youth initiatives, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Now, yesterday, once this particular individual actually got things to work, because, you know, me and technology, we actually got to broadcast the twos matchup in Athens up at the Turner Soccer Complex. Huntsville City Football Club coming to town, and we'll go through all of that. We've got Atlanta United, and this particular individual who is going to be part of the pre and the post and the in-game and all the things that are involved at 92.9 The Game on the Odyssey app. We bring in Maddie Cruz on the ones and twos, and it is time for Maddie to discuss what in the wide world of sports is going on. Where would you like to start? You want to do things chronologically and go forward?
Let's do it.
Okay, so yesterday you got things to work when I had screwed them up when it came to technology, and we actually got things fixed before the actual match. So I'm in the A block, and this is a full disclosure time with John and technology. So I'm hitting buttons and doing preview, and I'm seeing levels go and everything like that, and so I'm thinking, okay, everything's great. Hit the music, show is going on, and so I go on this incredible soliloquy about everything that's going on involving Atlanta United and the twos and getting ready for the matchup against Huntsville City, and it ain't going out over the air.
It was not. No, it was not.
And I know that shocks everybody that is, in fact, what was going on. And so Maddie came around and fixed things while I continued to talk, and so that we actually got it fixed during the pregame show, so folks could listen to the matchup with Atlanta United 2 and Huntsville City Football Club. I'm still trying to figure out the penalty call. I really am.
Oh my God. We need like an MLS Next Pro, like where they do like the pro referee video every week. I want to see a detailed breakdown of what went there, because I don't know either. Because here's my thing with the penalty. Sorry, we're gonna rant about it for a second.
That's what we're here for.
Watched it. And I don't understand. Like, I think even, chatting with head coach Steve Cook afterwards too, like, it's just the way that Aiden's coming in to try to clear the ball. Like, I think if you're calling it a handball, it's really unfair, because his arm is out. Like if you're really calling it because his arm is like out, not tucked in, he's sliding down, and it's not like he's putting his whole arm out to try to block the ball. He's like having it near his chest, and if it's a little bit out, it's still by his side as he's going to the ground. I don't know. That one I don't get. I don't know. I don't know. But there was also a lot of things I didn't understand either. So
what else was on the table that you didn't understand from
there's a couple moments. It was just really confusing. I think with the way the momentum was in the match, it felt like it just nothing stuck, and it was a little confusing at times to know what was going to be called, what wasn't. And yeah, but I with the twos, I mean, like head coach Steve Cook talked about it. You're dealing with fatigue, you're dealing with so much craziness and chaos that has happened in the last 30 days, with venue changes to having home matches be played on the road to moving completely to a different location and playing those matches. Like it's nuts, obviously, with missing players to help the first team, especially if you look at today. Cooper Sanchez and Nick Sessick, they're up in New York to help the first team as well. So it's like you're missing players, so you relied a lot on the academy, but that's also a positive. You got to see a lot of academy players in the last couple of weeks really make their start and get an opportunity to play professionally. But it was a good matchup. I don't want to sit there and say, like, I look at Huntsville and it's a 1-0 loss, but it was a good performance from the twos, and I think everyone's very excited to have a break.
One match in the next 28 days. One. The third, this I think now supersedes the wildest gap space that we have seen involving Atlanta United 2 this year. You've had two that were in the neighborhood of 10 days, 14 days, things like that. But now you have one match in 28 days for Atlanta United 2 for the third layoff of the year. But yep, everybody's going to detach for about a week and get back to it. But I think that the question that you raised yesterday, I think is a fair one. With you need the time off, yes. But at the same time, then you've got to try and get everybody back in rhythm for a match that's going to be happening in South Florida. And then you get more time off, and then you have to have more matches and things like that for the home stretch of the season. But yeah, it's the intrigue of not having one match in basically a month and how everybody kind of steps back into it. That's going to be the interesting part of the discussion after everybody gets some time off to kind of catch their breath a little bit.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. I think if you're looking at a team, I think Atlanta United 2 is probably the most capable of handling the breaks because of just how crazy some of the breaks have been this season for Atlanta United 2. Not only this season, but last season as well. Like, I mean, dealing with we're on a run here for 5 games, then you get a 2-week break. Then you're on a run for another 3 games, then you get another 3-week break. Atlanta United 2, I think, is well-versed in how they manage that, and I think you have a group who is really, really steady together. You have a group that is really strong together, and so I think it'll be nice for them to take the time off, and then when they come back, they'll be refreshed, they'll be rejuvenated. Hopefully we'll be back at Fifth Third Stadium, and they'll be ready to go, and it'll be a fun second half of the season.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on all of that. So that's your Atlanta United 2 update with everything that we got to see yesterday up in Athens, and I can't speak any more highly of Athens and
absolutely,
and the venue and the hospitality and the fact that we got Raising Cane's.
That was the best part of my day. That was the best part of my day. Love Raising Cane's. That was amazing. Not sponsored.
No,
should be.
Food in the press.
Not sponsored.
Absolutely yes. So that was the fun part. That was the off the field fun part that we got Raising Cane's in the press box. Thank you, Coy Spradlin from Atlanta United 2 in the communications department. Atlanta United taking on NYC tonight, and you and Abe kick things off at 6:30, 92.9 the game in the Odyssey app for Five Stripes Countdown. Kickoff at 7:40 with Mike and Jason in the Bronx, where they're going to be sitting behind home plate in the baseball configuration, and it's going to remind a lot of folks once again of what it was like when the Twos were playing in a baseball stadium and you kind of lost track of everything down the left field foul line. So you're at the U12 pitch, and it's NYC. Caught up with Glenn Crooks. That aired yesterday, and Glenn's like, well, ain't nobody coming back from international break for the NYC, and so that means that you're going to have Baccarar up top in the attack, and you're going to have Tomas Romero in net for Matt Freese. At least that was what his impression was. For Atlanta United, it's 75 players that were out on international duty, and they're all racing back in various ways. What are you anticipating when it comes to Atlanta United and NYC in the Bronx tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with a lot of players who went on national team duty, who played a lot of minutes in their respective national teams as well. It's very, very great for us to have so many players get called up to those moments. It shows, I think, the growth and how many star players we have on our team. But it's one of those things where you're looking at, you're going to be relying heavily on your depth. I think it's a reason why you brought up Cooper Sanchez and Nick Sessick to help give you a little bit more of that balance too, especially with some players who are coming in and they're going to be tired. They're going to be tired. Like Miguel Almiron played with Paraguay. He played a lot of minutes there. Bartosz Slisz started in the last match of 2. He's played a lot of minutes for Poland. You also have, I'm losing my whole train of thought, Jay Fortune. Jay Fortune played a lot for Trinidad and Tobago as well. You're missing a lot of guys. You're also going to have guys who are very fatigued. They're going to be very, very, very just tired, and they're going to need a break. So you're going to rely a lot on your bench, but it allows for opportunities for players to come in. Will Riley's an option to come in, and we've seen him back in Cincinnati, what he can do. He can go 90. Mateusz Klich can come in and be something in the midfield. You have those players who can step up in those moments to come up top. Jamal TRA, especially with Latte Lath, unsure if he's going to be back with the squad because he was up in Canada. He had the smallest trip, I think, just the plane ride over, as it was Canada versus Ivory Coast. And that matchup was crazy too. I don't know if you saw the end of that one.
What happened? No, I missed
it was a penalty shootout, and Ivory Coast won.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then Latte Lot converted. That's right.
Yes. So it was really, really cool. But so he has the shortest trip. So it's figuring out which players are ready to go, which players maybe need to sit this one out and take the break and rest, and who's going to step up in those moments. And it'll be a fun one. You're going to get to probably see some guys maybe step up in those moments and step into the first team, but it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for guys to step up and help the team out, especially up against NYC.
All right. Hang on just a second. I have to adjust my headset here. So, all right. So this is going to make for fun video, and people are going to sit there and go, what is John doing? And we'll explain it in a second. So here, I'm going to take my headset off real quick. Go full NASCAR pit stop here and see if I can do this in 5 seconds.
It's like he's like in the depths. You can't like hear him.
Well, it's because I had to take my headset off. Well, so because last night, well, it was only kind of half fixed. Okay, so I've got like 1 knot left. I had 2 knots in my headset cable. So last night, what I like to do is obviously I try to treat my equipment as best as I can, and let me see. Can I actually stick? Can I do it this way? Can I do it like this? Can I actually? Well, that may not. That almost makes it worse. And I may choke myself. That won't necessarily work. But no, I'm the kind of person. Let me go ahead and do the second loop here. I'm the kind of person that is very, very anal retentive when it comes to my cables, and I want to make sure that they're wrapped properly. And as someone who has spent time in front and behind a TV camera, both you and I can relate when it comes to making sure that your cable is wrapped properly, that you don't have any kinks, and that you don't retire it prematurely because it's going like 98 different directions. Well, last night when I wrapped my cable for my headset, apparently I created 2 knots in the unwinding of it this morning, and so that was why I had to unwind it really quickly. But anyway,
John.
I know. No, Pars is not all that confident. Confidence towards tonight is that they get the big L. Pars is not all that confident. But Pars, the 7 players that are gone in various ways for NYC, Glenn Crooks said they ain't coming. They will not be available, period. And that means your number one goal, your number one keeper, and your number one goal scorer, they're not going to be there. You're not going to have one of your star defensemen and one of your star midfielders that are attached to things. Just so everybody knows tonight, right now, and the numbers have changed a little bit. NYC is a -118. Your draw is a +279. Atlanta United is a +288. That has come down from in and around +300. NYC has gone from a -120 and 130 down to a -118. So folks are still trying to gauge what they want to think about this particular matchup. By the way, I think that tonight on Apple TV, it is going to be the 1990s and 2000s private eye duo of Sika and Sam calling the match on Apple TV, and we're going to have Neil Sika on tomorrow at 10 to start off the hour of chaos to get his thoughts about what happened. But to your point about the depth, I mean, you're looking at obviously Brad in net, then you're looking at you're looking at, say, what, Pedro. You don't know what Luis can give you, but it probably means that Derek and Ronnie and Brooks might be your back four. Does that sound about right?
Well, you also have Matt Edwards as well. So I would assume, at least just from the way the shape has been working, you don't want to change the shape. Right. I think you want to keep things dissimilar because that's what's been working for this group. I think you can see Ronald Hernandez stepping in and kind of being someone who can be that placeholder. We know that he can do that. He can play all over the back line. He can play wherever. He'll bleed for Atlanta United, so he'll play wherever you tell him to play. But he can come in, he can slot in and help defensively in those moments too. Depending on, I think, the situation with Saba Lobjanidze and how he's feeling after international duty as well.
Flying from one end of the planet to the other, yes.
It's a flight. It's a flight there. But, you know, you have the what can go there, especially between Brooks Lennon as well as with Saba Lobjanidze, who can kind of fill in as that right wing back as well, but also can go forward. I think Matt Edwards is going to be there too. That gives you a lot of depth there, especially when you do have a player like Brooks, like Saba, who gets forward. Matt can kind of slip into that position and kind of help fill that as well.
Yeah.
I think that might be what you're looking at is maybe having someone like Ronald Hernandez step in and kind of help things out in the back line. Midfield, we've already kind of talked about it, especially with Bartosz Slisz and with Jay Fortune out with international duty as well. Will Riley with an opportunity to step up. It's going to be fun. I really am hoping that maybe we get to see Will Riley because we haven't seen him since Cincinnati, and I think he had a really solid performance against Cincinnati. So it's an opportunity for him to step up in the midfield to hold things down. You also have Mateusz Klich, who can pair with Alexei Miranchuk as well up there too. And then up top, again, you're looking at Jamal TRA possibly, but then also maybe Latte Lath, depending on international duty. Yeah. It's a lot of question marks as to who we have. It's a question marks.
Yeah, and so say you're looking at, and the I think Lokeville's spot on. I think that Lokeville.
No, I agree with you. I think, and also too, I think a lot of it has to do with the size of the pitch. And I hate to bring it up again, but it is going to be a talking point. It has to be. But with how small the pitch is, it's basically every touch is going to matter. You have to manage the smaller spaces. You have to be quicker on the ball. You have to pick those moments because, listen, you don't have the space that you do when you're at any other stadium. If you make one pass, you got an NYC player right behind you, literally right behind you. Like, there's not going to be a lot of space. You have to be quicker in those moments. You have to be more concise. You have to be accurate in those moments. But Matt Edwards also said in media to us this week, too, that it is also an opportunity and it is an advantage to Atlanta United. We know they like to play in the high press, high intensity in those moments. So that can help, especially with pinning NYC into their defensive half, especially with the top three that we do have with Latte Lath, Miguel Almiron, and Jamal TRA, who can step in those moments. They have the speed. They can get forward and cause some pressure on the back line too. There's advantages, but with the size of the field, you have to be more concise. You have to be more accurate. You have to be quicker. You can't linger for any moment at NYC because NYC then is going to be able to break and go the other way. The one thing that's nice is because it's smaller, you don't have to run as much though, which will be, I guess that's a positive, but it's going to be a very intense game just because of just the scrappiness of it and trying to get forward. But that also might be as a back and forth, and that can cause a little bit more of that. Oh gosh, I'm tired.
Yeah, it's like the MLS version of pickleball, where
I mean seriously, and I hate it. I'm going to talk about it again on the pregame as well with the field too. But it is a conversation. It's something to have. It's obviously a small field. I'm excited to see the new stadium that'll be coming for NYC too. Like that's going to be fun. But for now, we got to talk about Yankee Stadium.
Yep. So you're looking at some combination of maybe Will Riley, Mateusz Klich. Then you're looking at Jamal, ATLUTD, Saba, Edwin Mosqueda giving you minutes. But to your point, you literally have to be on mentally for full 90 minutes because it is pinball. I mean, literally, it is. You don't need folks like we were talking with Glenn Crooks yesterday. You don't need folks lumping in crosses. Literally, you need someone who's going to sit there and take out the 3-iron and sit there and send it inside the 18 and try to make something happen and try and find an open space and literally create chaos on a pitch, according to Peter Vermes, as we listed in the chat, at 106/68. So
yeah. I'll also give you an update too. You mentioned Edwin Mosquera, so he's actually listed as unavailable for the matchup as well.
So much for that idea.
You have Josh Cohen, who's out due to the injured arm as well. That was announced. Stian Gregerson still out. Edwin Mosquera is out doing an abductor. Tristan Muyamba, who's out, and then Cayman Tagashi is also out as well.
Okay, so then forget my idea about Edwin Mosqueda, and so you're probably looking at some combination of ATLUTD, Jamal, Saba up top, maybe Matt Edwards on the left wing, depending on if you want to go back 4 or back 5. I know that we've had success defensively with the back 5 in that environment. Do you sit there and say, yeah, okay, give me a back 5, but considering the space, do you need a back 5? I guess is my question.
I mean, yeah, like it's definitely something to think about. It's something to think about, especially going up against NYC, especially with the space that you have. I think with what you're looking at right now, I would like to keep the shape because I think it keeps consistency and the players are used to playing in that shape. And at times, like as we talked about it before, with Matt Edwards being that back 3 with the center backs, especially when you have someone like Brooks Lennon, like Sabalo Janitze, who goes forward a lot, it allows for Matt Edwards to kind of fill in, and then you're almost looking like a back 4 at the end of the day. So it gives you more coverage back there, especially with what you want to do. So I wouldn't change the shape just because you want to keep things as similar as they're going to be when you do have everybody back and ready to go. But it's definitely a conversation in those moments because we already kind of see that as the match kind of flows and goes forward. But also, too, it gives you a little bit more of that reassurance and having someone back there who can hold things down and can get things going. I completely agree with you in the comments, actually, too. I think Edwards is really going to shine on the pitch as well. I think from watching him with the twos, from watching him this season as well, he's really going to shine in those moments. It's unfortunate because Jay Fortune, we don't know how fit he will be as well, especially since he's playing with Trinidad and Tobago. You also got to think about it too. There is the Gold Cup as well for Trinidad and Tobago on Sunday against the U.S. So looking at that factor too, is he going to be called up for that one as well? How is that looking like? And then Noah Cobb's with actually the U20s. So we do not have Noah Cobb either.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like if anybody's got a subscription to FlightAware, this is the time to use it.
Yes.
Because you're trying to track folks down from Eastern Europe, from Saudi Arabia, from tournaments in Europe involving the U's, and trying to make sure that everybody comes back. ATLUTD was the easy one. That's Pearson. That's YYZ to JFK. That's an easy one. Everybody else you got to have FlightAware for, and that's why we were trying to kind of extrapolate the lineup in addition to seeing Nick Sesic and seeing who's the other one really quickly? I forget. It's like my brain locked. The other from the twos that is up.
Cooper Sanchez and Nick Sesic.
Thank you, Cooper Sanchez. It's like I had Braden Dunham in my head. So Cooper Sanchez.
Braden Dunham is with the U18s with Dominic Chanqui, Caden Moore, and Santiago Pita.
Yeah, and Santi Pita scored the other day too.
He did. So did Braden Dunham.
Yes, and so you have sorry, kid. So you've got all of these flights. If you've got FlightAware and you can kind of plot airports to head back toward JFK, if not Atlanta, that's the thing. That's why we were trying to figure out the starting lineup here and kind of work our way from that. Okay, how many minutes can you give me? How many minutes can you spare? Because after today, it's not until the 25th when your next match is for the first team. But then it's 2 matches in 4 days when you're at Columbus and at the Erector Set taking on Messi and friends back to back on the road. So that's so give me what you got today. You got a couple days off coming back from international duty unless you're heading out to the Gold Cup, and then you just have to be prepared for the 25th.
And actually, like looking at the schedule too, again, I'm also unsure too about Luke Brennan and Noah Cobb either, as they were called up for the U20s too. I don't know because it looked like their last batch was June 10th.
Yeah.
They're also coming from Egypt.
Yes.
But I also know that the matchup between the Egypt U20s team and the U.S. men's was canceled. So I don't know if that's going to be a makeup game that they're doing. I'm not for sure. I was actually trying to do some research on it, but I couldn't find anything. But again, you're looking at a lot of those players that are going to be out internationally. Oh no. Oh no.
Yep. Jarrett's here, and as we're breaking down what we might anticipate in one of several thousand universes involving Atlanta United at NYC tonight at the Sandbox in the Bronx. So, Jarrett, we've been breaking it down. What's on your mind as we head into this matchup tonight on a Thursday in New York City?
Oh, no, I just had a window of time, so I'm using my free time here.
Yes.
I don't have a narrative to craft or bomb to drop or anything. I'm just here for the vibes.
He's here to hang out and kind of he wants to catch a vibe.
Yes.
This is also like the break of I'm not packing or throwing things away or like giving things away for an hour and a half. So hi.
Yes.
Nice.
Hi. So how is the process going, by the way?
It'll get done.
Oh, wow, heavy sigh on the pods report. Yeah.
It'll get no, like that part's fine. Like it's mostly packed. It's just a matter of weight balancing it, and it's a great excuse to downsize everything you have and everything you own. 10 out of 10 on that front. Alex, Jacine, and I are just going to switch places because he's coming from SLC Airport, and Saturday morning we start driving to Salt Lake, and that's gonna take 4 days because we're just going to slow roll it.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you're traveling from here to Kentucky and then to Kansas and then through the Rockies, you're taking the Northern Passage, sir, making sure that the Donner Party isn't affected by it.
Yeah, pretty much. No, so this is just my break from it all.
Okay.
For a couple hours, and then back to the salt mine.
Yes. So we were talking about Atlanta United, NYC. NYC is not going to have a lot of their big guns tonight, whether it's in net or up.
We're not going to have any guns.
Well, I mean, you are. It's just it's going to look a little differently with the individuals that are there. And Cooper Sanchez and Nick Sessick are going to be a part of the roster on the game day. But yeah, we were trying to look at the starting 11, seeing what it might look like, and on a field that's 106 by 68. Do you need
on a good day?
On a good day, do you need a back five? Basically?
Don't get me started. I'm.
Yeah, on a good day, it's that size. How you piece it? I mean, you dealt with a similar version earlier this year when you went to Cincinnati, and I'm wondering if history has to repeat itself if you're forced to play Will Riley for 70 to 90 minutes. Like you played him in the Cincinnati draw, and I think that was the game. Oh God, who was it?
Togashi with the heads up throw late.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to think who was it who got hurt in that game.
Okay, so we can effort that one.
I forget who it was got hurt in that game in the midfield, and you had to basically keep Riley out there because you got like Click got forced into the midfield, and in a first half sub, and so you had to play Will Riley the whole time, and he did great. He was fantastic. He ran around like a chick, but if you have to go with him, you have to go with him. If you have to call on Cooper Sanchez, you have to call on him. This is something that happens when you have to play during international breaks. It sucks. It's always sucked. Back in the day, teams used to have more say over whether or not they played on the international breaks. Seems like I remember Minnesota fans were irate that they played on international windows, but they didn't have a ton of players who disappeared for international duty, so it wasn't as big of a deal for them.
Yes.
And that's not to say they sucked. This is I'm talking 2019, 2020 Minnesota, which is 2019, they made the U.S. Open Cup final. We know because they lost it here. And then 2020, they were 10 minutes away from MLS Cup before they gacked it up in Seattle like a hairball.
It was Tristan. Tristan got pulled.
Yeah, it was Tristan. So yeah, Tristan got banged up in that Cincinnati game. You had to play Will Riley for longer. You might get forced into a similar situation here. where somebody has to play longer than you expect.
And be ready for that, because in that match, just to remind everybody about that particular match, Will Riley had to gut out a performance, and I mean literally gut out a performance, and it was a full 90 for Will in that match. I mean, there was no option that Will Riley had to gut out a performance in that particular matchup. So would not be surprised if we see something like that, depending on flights and all those kinds of things that are attached to the matchup tonight in the Bronx. Maddie and Jarrett. Jason is in New York, and so it'll be Mike and Jason tonight, Maddie and Abe tonight, and me and Jarrett probably watching on various and sundry devices tonight as we sit there and watch what's going on with Sika and Sam calling it on Apple TV and Mike and Jason on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app.
At what point do we get Jess calling an Atlanta United game for Apple TV so we can like line up the planets?
Oh, see, now that would be,
because that's the point at which, if you ever watched John, I don't know if this was your forte because you didn't have small children at the time.
No.
I wonder, like, if that's kind of like in the animated classic Hercules, when all the planets lined up and they were able to release the Titans to attack Mount Olympus. I feel like that's the equivalent here. If we can, like, get everybody doing stuff and just calling it for Apple TV, the planets align and we unleash some Lovecraftian horror upon the soccer universe.
It would be the SDH bump, but like times 10.
Oh, absolutely, 1,000%.
And it would. I think the world might burn. That would be chaos.
Well, but it wouldn't be because of us. We would be the ones
who
save the world from burning.
That's true.
Active.
So we would be the opposite. We wouldn't be the Titans to destroy Mount Olympus. We would be probably Hercules.
Yes.
Nice. I like it.
One of the things that I wanted to also discuss, Maddie, was the sit down that you and Jason did with Ronny Deila. And we're in this particular section of the season. For those who have not had the chance to listen, recommended pointing to your favorite audio podcatcher and distributor for the 30 minutes. And I know that the two of you could have gone a lot longer with Ronny. And I know that there were some topics where he literally said in the interview, oh, well, I could talk 3 hours about this. Some of the stuff that stuck with you from this interview without giving away what's in the interview. What stuck with you about Ronny Deila?
Yeah, I mean, actually, a lot of it was him talking about just the way that he views coaching, just like kind of his journey getting to this point and some of the things he had to go through. I think we talk about it a lot, especially I don't know if anyone, maybe there's someone who's, on the call remembers his time with Celtic. I don't know, possibly. But that was also really interesting too, getting to hear him talk about that experience and that time as well. And talking about the pressure that I think was there when he was there at Celtic and how that kind of helped as well, because now there is pressure, but now you know how to handle the pressure. Now you know like how to handle things, not only for you when you're coaching, but when you're doing things individually, for mentally, like that stuck with me. And just the way that he spoke about, I think, development. And it's something that I think has grown, especially when it comes to coaching. You obviously want to win no matter what. Every coach, every player, every team, they want to win. But what I loved about what Ronny was talking about is the developing of players, like not only just continuously getting better any chance you get, and talking to him about those moments and how that has shaped out throughout his career as well. And it was really cool. It was a really cool sit down. There was a lot of things I took away from it. I'm actually re-listening to it probably on my way to the studio tonight as well. I've listened to it probably like 3 times now. But because I mean, listen, there's some quotes in there where I'm like, oh, it's inspirational. I'm like, okay, I could put that on like a t-shirt and wear it around. And I'm like, okay, it's inspirational. I can look at it and be like, yes. But no, it's a really good interview. Just to get to know a little bit more about Ronny Deila and kind of his coaching journey, his philosophy, who he is. And it was really interesting hearing about him being a teacher as well. That was pretty cool.
So there was a lot of stuff in play. And Jarrett, from what Ronny was able to kind of let everybody know about the time that he was there in Norway. I mean, he was an open door guy when he was in his early days. And I think that kind of it might have taken folks a little bit off guard, especially when he makes that jump and you're like, well, coach, can I come in and talk to you? Well, yeah, my door's open. You can come in and talk to me anytime. And so it was his first introduction to pressure, and it was a couple of years, and then you're pretty much, it's like you're ready for that next gig. And that's what it was with Ronny. It's a couple of years and then he moves on.
Hey, it's been a really weird whirlwind for him, because he goes from doing from managing in Norway and dragging a team into a really fun little Cinderella story to go into Glasgow, leaving after 2 years, which, look, you could write a book about those 2 years, because he was, we were talking about this the other night, he's the manager that Celtic needed, but not the one they wanted. Like, and I say that about the fans and the players, because before he was there, Neil Lennon was playing caveman ball.
Yes.
Like, it was that very classic Scottish, I say classic, modern 90s, early 2000s style of Scottish ball, where it's some pace, a lot of physicality, and a lot of defensive action, and not a lot of like offensive build-up. You were trying to break on the counter or get set pieces or long throw-ins, and it was incredibly physical. Like, no blood, no foul. So when he goes in there, like, he overhauls fitness, he overhauls nutrition. That doesn't sit well with everybody, because imagine you are a veteran player who is enjoying a tenure at the club that is dominating Scotland, because at this point, by the way, Rangers is in administration.
Oh, yeah.
Translation for that is Rangers had gone bankrupt. They didn't exist anymore. They had to dissolve and reform, which is why you hear some fans refer to it as Sevco now, because it's a new iteration of Rangers.
Yes.
They'll claim their history back into the 1800s. It's fine. I don't care personally. But they had to dissolve and go down to the 4th division and come back up. The stuff we hear about in Italy all the time.
Yep.
But we don't hear about it with, like, a top-flight club that had, in 2003, had been to a Europa League final. Or 2007, I think, actually. Excuse me. So it's the thing where, like, you got guys who were veteran players who were very comfortable, but then you get a guy coming in there saying, hey, you can't just eat whatever you want now. You're going to bust your ass in training. We're going to do things in a very modern way, and I don't think that's set well with everybody. But he was what they needed to modernize that club, because he leaves. Brendan Rodgers comes in, wins triple treble. He wins three trebles in a row. Brendan Rodgers leaves in the middle of the night, like a dick. Then they had to bring Neil Lennon back, but by that point, Celtic, they weren't cavemen anymore. They couldn't play caveman ball, and it was a disaster. Then you bring in Ange, and then you come back to Brendan Rodgers because he'd worn out his welcome at Leicester. For the record, there's a huge proponent of people who want Ange to now coach Scotland's national team, because Steve Clark is an absolute abomination at this point.
Yeah.
Speaking of worn out his welcome. But I think Ronny, that was a big step, and you can go listen to it and listen to them talk to Ronny about it. It was a big step for him, because that was, when we talk about pressure in Atlanta, I know people here like to talk shit and be 10 feet tall and bulletproof about how big Atlanta is, how big Atlanta should be, what our expectations should be, blah, 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 blah. The man, like, the first time he left Norway, he went to coach a club where if you lose one game, they're coming at your door. If you lose 2 games, they're putting, like, for sale signs in your yard. Like, it's a level of pressure that, honestly, we don't have here. And it's unhinged.
Yes.
And I think it kind of molded him into what he is today. And that's not a bad thing.
And, I mean, Maddie, you're looking at someone that you got to sit down with who is unfazed by all of the talking around him. He's got a job to do, and he has his way of going about it. He has a job to do, And literally it is through what he has learned over time. And you can pretty much do whatever you like. He is a very open and honest individual, and he will let you know what he feels on a certain situation. And I thought that was also interesting, but it's because of everything that he has been through that has molded him into that individual. I mean, literally, here's a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve. He's very, very open and honest about things, very, very emotional about things. He wants to have the emotional exchanges with his players and with anyone around him that he has these conversations with. And I thought that was very refreshing to know these days.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, it was really, really a cool sit down to chat just about everything, because it sometimes it can be difficult, I think, to like just talk about like those moments, to get kind of deep and to get into the nitty gritty. And it was just wide open with Ronnie. And it felt very like open, honest, very just all on the table. And it was really, really cool. It was cool to hear more, I think, about how he's developed as a coach and kind of figuring out those elements too, as to what we see now with Atlanta United. And it was really cool. It was a really, really cool interview, and it's definitely a must listen to if you're on the way to, before you listen to us on the radio tonight, or if you're
you got a half hour at lunch.
Yeah, you should definitely go give it a listen. It's a really, really good interview to get to know Ronny Deila a little bit more.
And Jarrett, it was when we caught up with Glenn Crooks. Glenn mentioned that in New York, Ronny is, for obvious reasons, he is revered and beloved up there. And he is the kind of guy that will get up and go into a Celtic bar at 7:30 in the morning in the tri-state and will go and match you pint for pint watching Old Firm. That's what that time meant for him. And he is revered on both sides of the Atlantic for who he is and what he's been able to develop.
Yeah, and he's put in the work. We also went to Belgium and put in the work at two fierce clubs. Like I respect the fact that he's not afraid of anything, apparently. And you can't be afraid and do that job. One of the things for me personally, y'all, is I can never confirm this because I don't know the timeline of events. I don't know how it all works, but I choose, like, my headcanon is that when Garth sat down with Doug and talked, and Garth was like, "Yeah, Ronnie's here. He's not going anywhere." Like, after that, things started to to kind of shift performance-wise, I think.
Yeah.
And not only that, like, it also shifted in the way he was talking to us. Like, it wasn't as coddled, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
It seemed like the gloves came off and we saw guys get absolutely stuck the hell in a lot more often. And I think that's where he's at his best. Like, we can talk all day long twice on Sunday about the tactics of it all and about his ideas. But I think the amount of give a damn that he brings to it, and that he can, if they will buy in, and we've seen guys like Sleesh buy the hell in the last few weeks. Oh my God. Jay Fortune has been that dude. I think Derek Williams is a very important part of that as well, even though Derek Williams' legs are starting to go on him, I think, which is not his fault. That's just Father Time doing Father Time things. Yeah. But I think instilling that give a damn and that fight it's hard to motivate people sometimes, man. Like, if anybody could motivate, everybody would motivate. And it's hard to get through to people's skulls sometimes. And I think he's able to do that right now. And I think it's a special thing for a coach if you're able to do it consistently. And that will be key for them going forward. Does that mean they make the playoffs? I don't know. I can't tell you that. I can tell you, I think personally, if we're going to use therapy words, I think that this summer is going to be busy as hell.
Yeah.
Because you just got guys who can't stay on the field, who feel like the fit is kind of weird. So I think you're going to have a busy summer. But yeah, man, like the ability to motivate people and get people into the fight, it's important. And I think that was missing for a little bit of time. And getting that vote of confidence, I think, kind of loosens everyone up of, hey, we're here for the long haul. Embrace the suck and let's go.
Yeah. To Jared's point, 8 points out of the playoff picture right now at the halfway point of the season. DC has played one more match. They have one more point. New England has a couple of matches in hand. They are at 23 points. NYC is at 25 points, but they have a worse goal difference than Chicago Fire, and that is why they are out of the playoff picture at the wild card 8-9, and that is why Chicago and Charlotte are in at 25 points heading into the matchup tonight. Once again, it'll be Neil Sika joining us at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Sika and Sam are calling the match tonight on Apple TV. Mike and Jason are calling the match on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. Maddie, anything else on your mind heading into the matchup tonight involving Ronny Deila going back to a place where they won they hoisted a banner. The banner might have been a 3x5 index card, but they did hoist a banner by the time they were done. So NYC is a champ. Ronny Deila is going back to a place where he is a champ. What else sticks in your mind about tonight?
Well, I mean, let's hope that maybe we get another crazy matchup like we did at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with NYC as well. Maybe we get another one of those tonight.
Do you want a crazy one? Do you really want a crazy one?
You know, with how crazy this,
I don't know if my heart can take that.
I mean, with how crazy this week has been, you know what? Why not make it even crazier? I think no, I think for this one you're dealing with so many losses, you're dealing with so many players that are going to be missing, but this squad has a very, very excellent depth, and you have a lot of players you can call upon to come make a difference, and it's an opportunity for a lot of them to step up and have their moment, come in and help this team. You have this matchup, then you get a little bit of a break as well, but it's an opportunity to kind of start this second half of the season on the right foot.
And it'll be pregame with Maddie at 6:30 with Maddie and Abe, 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app, Five Stripes Countdown. They'll be in studio watching, and hopefully not a whole lot of ranting and raving and banging heads on desks and things like that. And then you'll
hey, listen, before I go, I'll give the public service announcement.
Yeah.
Match day mixtape, guys. I need some thoughts, some themes, maybe some.
Jared, I mean, she's got to have the Beastie Boys in there, I would imagine.
I would think so. I mean, this is Maddie's escape shuttle. Like, I can't tell her how to pilot.
You can help guide me in those moments, though. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to go artist again, based in New York, or do I be really crazy? And since you know New York, do I just do like New York, New York?
Oh, no. You've got to do
No.
I'll pull out my theater chops.
There's plenty of options.
I'll pull out my theater chops.
Oh God! Just do a monologue.
Honestly, I could. Oh, I'm already going to be doing that anyway. I'm already going to be talking.
So then what?
Just Madison just breaks into like the monologue from Glengarry.
Oh, see now that. What's your name? Blank you. That's my name.
Chaos. That's what it'll be.
Yeah,
Chaos.
Have her be Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross. No, I think part of it's got to be the Beastie Boys, and then you've got to come up with your other two. So that is my suggestion for you, Maddie, is that you start with the Beasties and come up with two other artists. The pride of NYC, the Beastie Boys, starting in 1979. So I would go Beastie Boys.
Will be on there. Yes.
Yeah. See, the Beastie Boys and two others will be part of your mixtape. So, Maddie, thanks for dropping by for hour number one and discussing everything from Ronny Deila to the Twos and to Atlanta United as we get you ready. Now, go fuel up and get all your caffeine and get your coffee and your macchiatos and your supersized double half-calf lattes. I did not send you that note.
I know. I'm
also your iPhone notifications.
Yes.
Yeah, listen, guys. Normally, it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever, guys. It's whatever. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yes. Whatever it's. All right. So once
the narrator's voice, it was not
exactly.
So literally,
isn't he the best? Gene was far from the best.
So, Maddie, go get your caffeine, get rested, and we'll be listening tonight. So have a great show with you and Abe, and we're looking for 3 points out of Atlanta United up there in the Bronx.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all.
All right, there goes Maddie. Maddie's got a busy day. She's going to be talking stuff. See, we didn't even get into World Cup. We didn't even get into like the 1 year anniversary for World Cup coming here to this particular part of the planet. So we didn't even get into that this morning. That's how much is going on, Jarrett, is that, like I said, we got Nino Torres coming up in a couple of minutes, and we'll discuss everything from transfers to CONMEBOL and all that kind of stuff. And Pars just noticed, by the way.
Oh, yeah, the Hobbs.
That Hobbs is your.
I couldn't find the picture, so I couldn't find the usual picture.
Yes, and that's about as accurate as it is. So yes, Hobbs and Jarrett. That is about as accurate as it gets. So, and Alex is sad.
That's how I felt watching the U.S. national team. So there's that.
Oh boy, yeah, there's that. But yeah, we got into that, and that's another discussion for Gold Cup, which is coming up sooner than a lot of folks probably wish that Gold Cup is coming. But yeah, we'll get into CONMEBOL and transfers and everything going on with our buddy Nino Torres from Gold TV, and we got Club World Cup to talk about with Niko Moreno at 10:30 last half hour of the show. So we'll be getting into all those things involving Club World Cup and everything else going on around the planet. What else is on your mind here to wrap up hour number one?
No, just I guess prep for this week. For tonight's game, this week, Jesus. For tonight's game, it's kind of weird. It's a Thursday night game, but yeah, man, you're asking a lot of guys like, hey, show me something. This is something we've seen from Matt Edwards this year, in the ability to have guys step up. I need you to do something. Show me something, and Matt Edwards did that. Had some tricky moments early in the season. Go back to the Charlotte game. But learn from them. Did not let those moments define him, and that's important in your players' development. And you're going to be asking guys tonight, hey, I'm going to give you a shot. I need you to go out there and show me why this should not be your only shot. Make it impossible for me to leave you off the sheet.
Give me a reason. That's what you're staring at. So, how many more days do you think you can come up with? You going to be back with us tomorrow?
Oh, probably not. The next time you hear from me, we'll probably two time zones behind you.
Okay. All right. Well, then, if you can come in tomorrow. Like I said,
I'll try.
I know. Hour number one is we're wrapping what happens tonight in hour number one. We'll see if we can catch up with our friends from Beyond Goals. And then we have the hour of chaos from 10 to 11 with Neil Sika joining us at 10 o'clock. So, and then prepping the weekend at 10:30. So that's the rundown for tomorrow. That's your assignment should you choose to accept it. Jarrett's thinking, do I accept this assignment or no? So that's that'll be up to Jarrett as to whether or not he gets to come in on his own volition on a Friday as we break down what happens tonight with Atlanta United and NYC and anything else going on around the planet. So, are you still thinking about it?
No, I'm just the signal's breaking up on me, so that's all.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then we will. If we see you tomorrow, we see you tomorrow. If we don't, we'll see you from 2 hours behind, unless you're on the road.
Sounds good.
All right. That's Jarrett, everybody. And so Jarrett is going to be doing his thing tomorrow, and if he joins, I hope he does. If he can. If he can't, then he'll be joining us either from the road or from the new location in the Mountain Time Zone, where he does mountains over there. So he'll be kind of like part of the Western frontier, but not quite. He'll be in the Mountain Time Zone, working his way that way, starting on Saturday and working his way that way. Should be there by the midweek. And so we'll see the integration of Jarrett in the Mountain Time Zone as we go forward. A couple of things before Nino joins us. Woody Johnson, according to The Guardian, has made a £190 million bid for John Textor's Crystal Palace shares as UEFA is delaying their decision on what happens with Eagle Football Holdings and their clubs, and do they get bumped out of European competition, yay or nay? Woody Johnson offered 190, comes with UEFA expected to delay until the end of the month the decision on whether the club will be allowed to compete in next season's Europa League. The offer from Johnson is the backing of Steve Parrish, the co-chair, and believed to be under consideration by Textor, despite falling significantly short of his valuation of about £240 million for his 44.9% stake. Now, that number has flipped. It has been reported as low as 30 and as high as 44.9. Figures based on his failed attempt to buy out Parrish and Harris and Blitzer back in April when a £550 million bid was rebuffed. Textor is understood to be prepared to accept up to £50 million less than his valuation after Harris and Blitzer turned down an opportunity to buy his stake at the discounted price. A consortium that includes NBA star Jimmy Butler and Sports Bank, which has held talks with Textor about investing in Palace, is also in the frame. All 4 Palace co-owners were part of the club delegation that attended the meeting at UEFA's headquarters in Lyon this month and argued that Textor, the majority shareholder in Lyon, does not have a decisive influence at Selhurst Park, despite being the largest shareholder. UEFA rejected attempts by Textor and Blitzer to place their shares in a blind trust because they missed the March 1st deadline. Blitzer's Danish club Brøndby have qualified for Conference League. Decision on Palace has been expected imminently, but sources at UEFA have indicated the club financial control body would like more time to consider the case, with the end of June regarded as more realistic. That could give Textor the opportunity to complete a sale, a move that would be viewed favorably by UEFA, although he's believed to be reluctant to rush through a deal, having spent about £180 million since purchasing his original 40% stake in August of 21. Palace are understood to remain confident that they will be cleared to participate in Europa, having been in regular contact with the CFCB since their meeting in Lyon. But if they do get the green light, Nottingham Forest could appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport after they wrote to UEFA this week, raising concerns about a potential breach of multi-club ownership rules by Palace. Evangelinas Marinakis, who is close to Textor, would stand to be promoted from Conference League if Palace are banned by UEFA. Brighton would then be in line to take Forest Conference League place after finishing 8th in the Premier League. Brighton have no intention of making a complaint, would be unlikely to join Forest in any legal action to prevent Palace from competing in Europe. So we discussed Matt Turner going from Nottingham Forest to Lyon for £8 million, or €8 million. So the team that's suing the other team about having a multi-club influence, that has a multi-club influence of their own, except that they put things in a blind trust, but they're more than happy to wander out on the field and yell at their coach and their physios. They meaning Forest. Let me find the newest element of chaos before we bring in our buddy Nino Torres. I've got to remember where it was that I saw it. I think it was the Times. So we've mentioned the chaos involving Matt Turner and the €8 million that apparently is being purchased by Lyon to Forest to bring him in. But now it appears that there is yet another Brazilian club, or actually it's Burnley that is mad. So it's another English club is mad at Textor's Botafogo. Burnley claim that Textor's Botafogo still owe them £6.5 million for the transfer of Vitinho. This comes from the Times and our buddy Matt Lawton. Matt Lawton is somebody whose byline you don't want. Botafogo is the subject of a complaint to FIFA by Burnley over an unpaid transfer fee. John Textor has until 24th of June, happy birthday to me, to convince UEFA that his business model should not prevent Palace from participating in Europe alongside Lyon. Times can reveal that Botafogo, owned by Eagle Football Holdings, due to participate in the Club World Cup, has been at the center of 2 recent transfer disputes. One of them was mentioned, Thiago Almada, $3 million plus interest at 3%, $18 million plus interest for almost an entire year. So $21 million. Now, Botafogo was fined about $150,000 for failing to pay the first of 2 installments. In August of last year, Botafogo announced the signing of Vitinho, who'd been at Burnley since 22. Deal reportedly worth about £6.5 million, additional $2 million in performance-related bonuses. Sources, however, have told Lawton Burnley have written to FIFA in an attempt to secure monies they say are still owed to them by Botafogo. Report in Brazil has said the English club has contacted the Brazilian Football Confederation on the matter, but has since complained to FIFA. So now we bring in Nino. We're fully loaded as you're having breakfast, and we're still trying to figure out how it is that Eagle Football Holdings and Botafogo are still making deals, and Lyon is making deals as attached to Eagle Football Holdings. And apparently they're taking like you remember the old Popeye cartoon growing up? You remember you remember how Wimpy would always try to get a burger?
Yeah.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Literally, I feel like this is what we're staring at with Eagle Football Holdings. So Eagle Football Holdings, $3 million plus $18 million on Thiago Almada. FIFA rendered a legal judgment against Botafogo for that. They got to pay that plus $150,000 and 3% interest on two separate transactions. Now we have word that Matt Lawton at the Sunday Times, once again, somebody whose byline you don't want. Now you're looking at Botafogo and Vitinho and Burnley at $6.5 million with an additional $2 million in performance-related bonuses. But that hasn't stopped Eagle Football Holdings and Lyon from dropping €8 million allegedly with Nottingham Forest to get Matt Turner over from Forest to Lyon. And if Evangelinos Marinakis has his way, has Nottingham Forest in a blind trust.
A blind trust.
Yeah, so that way I don't have any influence on them, but I can still yell and be mad. So Evangelinos Marinakis, he's like, well, you got folks that own Lyon and Crystal Palace, and they're both in European competition. Hey, I'm mad, so I may take you to court on this, but if you want to pay me €8 million separately to have my keeper go from Nottingham Forest to Lyon, hey, we can have that happen too. So we're looking at what? So 6.5 plus 2 is 8.5, £8.5 million plus, so €30 million on two deals max, plus another €8 million on Matt Turner that Eagle Football Holdings / Lyon / Botafogo apparently owe folks that I'm waiting to see if they're going to pay the man.
Man, that's
yeah.
That reminds you of that movie. That movie, The Big Short.
Yeah.
You seen The Big Short? Like, hey, yeah, we're just releasing these contracts, and we're gonna do it however we want it. It's just it's one word for this, man. Loopholes.
Yeah.
If you find the right loophole at the right time, the right place, brother, just make it happen, right? Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna find out, right? Because it's between you and me. But it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. Why? I mean, why? Why can do things right, man? Just do it. Just play it. I guess I'm kind of naive on this, man. Thinking that people is gonna do the right things. No, ain't gonna happen, man.
I mean, and this is a club. And by the way, we mentioned that Woody Johnson is offering £190 million for Texter's 44% stake in Crystal Palace to try and sit there and go, oh, no, nothing to see here. And he's completely and totally undervaluing and trying to underpurchase because of a failed takeover bid previously. But I'm still trying to figure out, how mad we got, how mad it was that we got, who was it that screwed up the Reggie Cannon deal in Portugal?
Boa Vista.
So it's like Boa Vista, Botafogo. It's Boa Vista, Botafogo, Boa Vista, Lyon. And it's like, my head hurts from all this stuff.
That's why these teams are where they are now, bro. That's why the teams that they're not being run properly, they got at the bottom of the table. They got relegated because you can make all the business, right, quotations, right, all the business that you want to make. But if you don't do it right, it's going to translate on the pitch. It's going to translate on the product. It's going to translate on the fans. It's going to translate on your stadium. So you can be, look at me, man. I'm so clever. I'm so good at doing this. And boom, there you go. Reality bites you the rear end big time.
Yes. So let me, since we're talking about Portugal and Boa Vista and Botafogo and Eagle Football Holdings and all this kind of stuff, I want to skip to topic number 2. I saw all caps and I was drawn in. So according to Charlotte Dunker at the Times, headline: Victor Gyökeres, no agreement to let Man United target leave for £59 million. Sporting Lisbon president Frederico Varandas denies there is an agreement in place to let the 27-year-old striker leave for that price, contrary to reports in Portugal. Varandas says that there's no gentleman's agreement in place to let him leave for that price. Gyökeres, who played under Ruben Amorim, a target for United. At this stage, there's been no bid, and he just remains a player of interest. But if United were hoping for a cut price deal, then they are likely to be disappointed. Varandas saying on Wednesday they would not be letting the 27-year-old leave on the cheap. 97 and 102 since moving from Coventry City, €100 million release clause in the contract. But the suggestion in Portugal was that there was an agreement in place that he could leave for €70 million this summer. Varandas has denied that. Quote, I can guarantee that Victor Gyökeres will not leave for €60 million plus $10 million because I never promised that. To this day, Sporting has not had an offer for Gyökeres, neither today nor last season. End quote. You say the Gyökeres blockbuster movie has too many characters.
Yeah, you mentioned Manchester United, right? But there are also 2 more teams that are not small. They're not small teams here, what we're talking. One of those is Arsenal, right? According to I've read several reports all across the board, and it says that the Gyökeres agent, he's talking to Arsenal, but and also Juventus is jumping in, all right, in the conversation. Of course, it's a silly season; anyone can jump in. You know, you can hear from everywhere, right? But the truth of the matter is that there's no formal offer from any of those 3. There's no formal offer at the office of the Jose Alvalade, right? There's no formal offer for Victor Gyökeres, and the thing is that his release clause is $100 million. All right, that's his release clause. But as Baranda said, it's not going to happen for $100 million. Nobody's going to pay $100 million for almost 27, almost 20. This is the key factor here on this situation with Victor Gyökeres. If he were 23, boy, boom, 100 million, 120, 130. But he's about to turn 27, and that brings the price down big time. And I don't care what Barandas is saying now, we're not going to let him leave for 60. Yes, you will. Because no one in the planet is going to pay over 60. Let me tell you this. He's going to go for less than 60. All right? He's going to go for less than 60. Even when he says, because he's a politician, he's not going to say, hey, I'm not going to sell cheap my biggest asset, right? But I'm telling you this. The market now it won't accept this trade. They're gonna call the FCC and they say, no, I'm sorry, guys. This is not happening. This is not happening. All right. I don't care if you're Jordan Belfort or something, but it's not going to happen. We're not going to sell Victor, at almost 27-year-old, for $60 million plus add-ons, right? Because the deal is 60 plus add-ons. No, brother, you are delusional. I want to use this word a lot more later on the show, but no. To give you an idea, right? Luis Enrique, who just won the championship with PSG, and I forgot the name of the guy. He got that weird name, the guy for the PSG, the boss for PSG. He told him, we're not signing anyone 28 years old and older. That's the limit. The limit is 27, and this is what the world market is doing now. If you have a player 26 turning 27, you're not getting 60 million. You're not. So Barandas and was June, right? We're gonna keep talking about this all summer long, but but I'm telling you, in August, when the tournaments are about to start, and the money is not there, and the offers are not there. I mean, there will be offers, but I'm saying is that the real offers are not going to be there. The numbers are going to drop down considerably for Victor Gyökeres, and maybe he's not going to stay. I said this, but he's not going to stay. This is just they can't turn down 50 million. I want to say that's my number for Victor, 50.
Okay. Nasser Khelaify is the chair at PSG. So then Dario Isugo goes to Chelsea for 22.3.
Yeah, and he's 20.
Yeah.
He's 20, but Sugo is a prospect. He's not a superstar. He's not Rodrigo Mora. He's not Mastantuono. He's not Estevao. He's a mid-range kind of player. I don't think that he doesn't have that quality. He does not have that quality. He's an exciting player. He's dynamic, yes, okay, but the thousands of Sugos in the world right now. So he's not making a difference. He's not a difference maker. So go to Chelsea. Okay, hopefully he gets minutes in this FIFA World Cup, Club World Cup for Chelsea. Hopefully.
So then Sporting did a good piece of business by sending Isugo out for 22.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's a different story if you're talking about Gio Kenda, right? I'm surprised that I don't hear anything from Gio Kenda right now. It's because I'll pay 50 for that guy. I'll pay 50 for that kid.
And so now let's steer it to the World Cup qualifying. And there are a lot of topics here on your list that have to do with the World Cup qualifying. So you're getting all hydrated and everything. You're getting all gassed up. You're ready to talk about this. The real reason, topic number one, the real reason why Peru failed to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. Here we go.
All right, so we fail again, right? We fail again to qualify for the World Cup, and of course, the media is going ballistic. They're tearing their shirts apart. And no, why we didn't qualify? The president, he's so corrupt. He should go. How would we have this president of this Peruvian Soccer Federation? We hate him. La, la, la. Okay, and then we go into we have three coaches, and none of these three were capable of putting the things together. They suck. I was like, okay. Well, let me bring you the numbers here. This is the real reason why we didn't qualify, because we can't score. We can't score. So these are the numbers for the Peruvian national team on these qualifiers. After 16 rounds, we scored 6 goals. 6 in 16 games. Okay, 6. The last qualifiers for Qatar, we scored 17 goals. And we got 2 players to score 5. Cueva scored 5, Carrillo scored 3, and what's his name? Lapadula scored 3. So we got 11 goals between 3 players, and now we got 6. Ooh. 6. All right. The year that we qualified for Russia, 2018, that's 2 qualifiers ago, we scored 27 goals. 27 in 18 matches. So it's not of course, it's the president on all his horrendous decisions, right? that I can't take that out of the equation. But he's not on the pitch playing, brother. Yeah. He's not on the pitch. The coaches are like, oh, he's so defensive, like he's not on the pitch. All right. We lost the capacity to generate offensive plays other than the center forward. Okay. Our center forward, we failed miserably. We got a 41-year-old striker. 40. He's been he's been in the national team for 20 years. Ooh. 20 years, and we cannot bring another striker Another one. It's ridiculous. Look, the academies, right? The three big clubs, the big three for Peru: Alianza, Universitario, and Sporting Cristal. Every one of them have their academy players. They have 500 players. 500 in Universitario. They got 500 academy players in Cristal. 500 academy players in Alianza Lima. Somebody, this is what I don't understand. Explain to me, Johnny, why we can get one striker, one out of 1,500.
Wow.
In the elite schools in the country, we got this out of a pool of 1,500 kids. You want to tell me every year there's no one that could play center forward? No one. And what did we get? Oh, Nino, we got this kid, Max Loren Castro. He's playing for Sporting Cristal. He's amazing, right? He's 16. Listen to this, already playing in the top flight division. Then they got another kid, Wisdom, for the same club, Sporting Cristal. We keep getting these players. They're 5'5" and 140. 5'5", 140 pounds. You can't compete in the world like that, brother. You can't compete. You can't compete. We can't compete with those. No, we can't. You know, but I was talking to a youth coach the other day, and you know why? I mean, I've seen players in the summer tournaments. I've seen kids that they are 6-footers all over the place, man, all over the place. This generation, the born in the 2000s, right? 2005, 2007. I've seen these kids. I've seen kids 6-footers, 185s, playing awesome soccer. Why you don't play? Why you don't pick these ones? Why you pick Nino? But they're not. They are academy players. They're coming from the academies that they're playing for the beach club in the summer tournament. And this it's not like they're just having fun. No, they're playing in those academies. Nobody can see these kids. Come on, man. That's the reason. That's the reason we can figure out a way to find strikers and to develop strikers, and not just strikers, or wingers, and offensive players that they can play ball in this competitive world right now.
Right now, Peru is in 9th, 12 points. They need to win out in the last match day sequence and get a lot of help, because right now they're -7 in goal difference. Venezuela right now is in 7th in the Interconfederation playoff spot, 18 points, and they're in 7th. Everybody else, Colombia is at 22. Paraguay is behind in goal difference at 24. Uruguay is at 24 and 4th. Brazil qualified. Ecuador has qualified. Argentina has qualified. We just don't know the order yet when it comes to the late match day. But you have Mastantuono and the enormous capacity the Argentinians possess to be delusional.
Oh man, I just got my rant about Peruvian players, and now we got to the opposite side of the spectrum, right? Where they have way too much talent on that side of the continent, and it's crazy because it's Mastantuono is the talk of the day. Every single day we have to talk about Mastantuono here on this side of the globe. And by the way, he's already there, and right, he's already out. Yeah, he's already there in the U.S. with River Plate, and Boca Juniors is also over there for the FIFA World Cup. But this is the thing, right? So they're complaining that Real Madrid, flex their muscle to get Mastantuono. Brother, they're Real Madrid. Okay, what are you talking about?
I mean,
okay?
come on, no?
If Madrid says we gotta go, I'm gonna pay for this plate. I'm gonna take him. Right? And there's nothing that you can do about it. Oh, that we got a release clause of 45 mil. Okay, done. Oh, we got 50 million add-ons. Done. What else do you want? We got done. And they're complaining that the Mastantuono should have stayed another year in the Argentinian top flight division. I think let me tell you, Jenny, have you seen him play? Have you seen Mastantuono play? No. Okay. The kid talking about size. He's a 6 foot 185.
Okay.
6 foot 185. Okay, starting from there. Strong, fast, super fast. And but what is most impressive is how mature this kid is. His character it's just, I mean, it's rock solid. I've seen the kid in Copa Libertadores, in Copa Libertadores, not in the tournament, in Copa Libertadores, carrying the load of River Plate in offense. He's like, guys, I got this. Just give me the ball. Just that kind of attitude. I am the guy. Give it to me. 17 years old, huh? 17 years old. He started getting minutes from Gallardo, 20 minutes, 30, 50. Okay. Then now he is in charge of every set piece for River Plate. Free kicks, corner kicks, whatever, anything. He got that responsibility at the age of 17. So, but going to the delusional part is this, right? Because now Madrid acquired Mastantuono. By the way, these are the terms. He's not a Real Madrid player until he turns 18, which is, I think it's in August or July or something. I don't know when is his birthday, but it's around the corner.
Yeah.
Once he turns 18, boom, he's Real Madrid player. And Real Madrid already, they put a release clause on him. Give me a number, John. Give me a number.
250. 500? Oh, they went for the bill, did they?
$1 billion.
Oh, whatever.
$1 billion for Mastantuono. That's a release clause. That's a message to the freaking guys in Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
Oh,
Guys, even for you, this is too much. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Those guys are crazy. They can come up with something like that. I'm not sure, but yes, $1 billion. So because Real Madrid said that they're gonna put they put in that release clause in Argentina, everybody was like, "Oh, we're selling cheap. We're selling so cheap." What do you know, bro? This is how business works. Okay, I want to acquire this kid for 17 years old for 45 million. It's the biggest transfer in the history of Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm not going to pay 200 for you. I'm not paying 200 because you're not ready. You're not worth it right now, 200 million. You will in, I want to say, a couple of years, easily. Yeah. Easily. At the age of 20, I think he'll be in 200 million easily. But not now. You're not, that's not your worth right now. Your worth is 45 with an enormous potential to grow. But Argentinians was like, no, we sold him so cheap. We should get 85 million for him, 90 million for him. Oh, come on, brother. Come on.
Give it time. You got the big deal at the time. Just know that down the line, if things continue to, I wonder if they got a sell on. See, that's the thing. They need a sell on clause. That's what they needed.
Right, because they spent 60 mil on this transfer market, man.
Yeah.
60 mil on this transfer market window back in January. 60.
Mm-hmm.
So
get your sell on for that. I mean, if you believe in Mastantuono, I have seen highlights. I haven't seen him play, but I've seen highlights and everybody's like greatest hits kind of a thing. But now that I mentioned this, and Mastantuono is gone. This is let me just dream about this for a second, right? Just let me be Nino Damus in a crazy state of mind. It's that oh my God! All right, so what if? Right? This is not a prediction. This is just a wish. This is a delusional soccer wish of me. This is Nino Damus and the lamp, is what this is.
So what if we pass this series over Palmeiras? We're gonna face River Plate again without Mastantuono, and that is quarterfinals. That'll put us into the semifinals for Universitario de Deportes. Oh my God, Nino! In the Copa, can you believe that? I don't know Johnny. What if that happens, man? What is that? If that happens, I don't know what I'm gonna do, brother.
Then it's going to be a full half hour, fully loaded, with you just screaming at the top of your lungs. I know that
with the banners and the band, and my doggy here with everything.
Absolutely, you get everybody behind you, just playing, just have a big old concert there at the Studio de Nino. Hey, look, I dig that. Your last topic, Messi never forgets never. Yeah, don't piss off Messi. Never piss off Messi because he'll remember something from when he was 12. He'll come after you. Man, there'll be a moment if you have wronged him in his mind. Doesn't matter how long ago it was. Doesn't matter if it was to him. Doesn't matter if it was to his brother, his mom, or his dad, or a friend. He's coming after you. So what happened this time?
You remember that massive game? I think that was the most massive game outside of the finals in Qatar. That was the quarterfinals with the Netherlands, right? You know, all that brawl and that the thing that he did to the bench. It was because it was a lot of talk from the Netherlands side, right? Especially from what's his name, Van Gaal.
Yeah,
Van Gaal. Everyone talks. It's in the Liga also. There were many episodes of Messi make the opponent remember. You remember what you said? Okay, this is when I'm not gonna make you pay. So a couple of nights ago, when the Argentina versus Colombia, Messi entered from the bench, right? Colombia was leading 1-0, and then they got the equalizer in
Thiago Almada, brother, you're down to 10.
Yeah.
It's Thiago. A lot of folks
He's on fire, man. He's on fire. He is in that because Argentina, nobody talks about this, but it's amazing how Argentina, they change the players, and the level of performance from the team never drops.
You want to be the one to piss off Messi? You go right ahead.
Yeah, and that was my boy James Rodriguez.
Oh,
I remember that interview. I remember he said you should see his face, man. You should see his face when he was talking to Messi. I'm like, no, but I didn't say that. No, but he was covering his mouth, right? And then he uncovered his mouth. So like, no, Messi, but I didn't say that. No, don't tell me that because I saw you. I saw you in the interview when he said, yeah, Argentina got help in Qatar. That's why they won the World Cup. I remember, I watched the video. And Messi was saying, they help us, huh? They help us. So we got help. And he was so pissed off, man. He was yelling at James Rodriguez on the pitch. And James was like, you should have seen the guy, man. You should have seen James going like this. No, but, you know.
Came here, Bobo.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you know what's crazy? There's the what is this? So this 1 year exactly, right? From it was yesterday, a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
1 year exactly from the beginning of the World Cup next year. And the poster, if this happens, what are we gonna do if this happens?
Yeah.
The poster shows Messi and Ronaldo on the World Cup.
No. Stop.
That's what the poster shows, man. But I don't know. I think it's gonna happen. But
no, it's not gonna happen.
I want it to happen in Qatar. It could have, but no, not this year.
No,
not this time.
No.
But, I still believe that Argentina will win the World Cup.
Yeah, right there with you. So what's going on with the Intermedio and Goal TV? What do folks need to know?
We got the Intermedio coming, brother. Intermedio, the Uruguayan tournament is on absolute fire. We got everything, man. We got everything. We got Nacional, Peñarol games. And these guys, when it comes to the Intermedio, there's like games every other day. Games on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, on Sunday. It's crazy, man. And the hours, man, because they are ahead of us, right? We are now. You got 10:30, they got 11:30. Mm-hmm. It's 11:30 over there.
Yeah.
So if they start, I got games, and I got a game. When was that? Saturday, right? At 9:30.
Yeah, you got breakfast with Nino is what you got. You know, it's always fun, and I always get a kick out of yelling at you when you're on the air. Enjoy your coffee, sir. As always, we'll be catching up with you this weekend. We'll be watching it on Gold TV. Love you, brother. We'll catch up with you soon.
See you guys. Thank you for having me.
All right, there goes Nino. Nino, and that's the thing. It's like literally 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. He's calling games. It literally is like, fifth graders hanging out in school. They're just doing their thing. All right, last half hour. Hot change. We're going from Peru to Seattle. and we're going to break everything down MLS. We're going to look at Club World Cup. We're going to talk things with our buddy Niko Moreno. Wait, no lid. Where's the lid? No hat.
No hat today, man. I'm on the go. I'm on the professional look. I can't have no hat on after this because I got a very busy day. It's been a busy week, to be honest. Yesterday we did low TV here for Fox Seattle, radio. It's been all over this entire week, all about the Sounders, all about Club World Cup. So yeah, man. Today you get Niko without a lid.
You get styling and profiling professional Niko is what we got. All right, so I'll bite. This Club World Cup thing, what's the vibe like with the Club World Cup there in Seattle, with Seattle getting 2 home matches in the group stage?
Man, look, I'm not going to lie to you. It's been tainted a little bit by everything that is going on with the players' protest for fair compensation. There is honestly a very underseen, underrated feeling about what's going to happen over the weekend because of the country's political situation and some of the protest anti-ICE that are currently happening right now in downtown Seattle. So I'm starting to maybe believe that I mean, there might be some things going on in the weekend. So honestly, I wish it was better. I was excited for the event. I am excited for the actual soccer that's going to be happening at Lumen Field. But there is maybe a sense that is not as hyped as it should be, and is because of a variety of things and factors that I just mentioned. So to be honest, it has lost a little bit of magic, and the vibes, the atmosphere is not as vibrant as I was hoping that it was. Maybe on Sunday it'll be completely different and it'll be 50,000 at Lumen Field, but I don't expect it.
So is Botafogo going to actually pay some bills? Are they going to actually pay what they owe to folks, allegedly, walking in the door?
Man, I don't really know. I mean, I just heard that, Igor De Jesus and Jair, they're underway to Nottingham Forest. I mean, I don't know what's going on over there. Do they have money? Do they don't? I mean, was John supposed to be the man with the check? So I don't know how anybody's not getting paid. So it's an interesting situation there for Botafogo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and lawsuits and FIFA judgments, and paying Atlanta United on Thiago Almada twice over for 21 mil, and so it's we talked about the possibility of ownership change at Crystal Palace with Woody Johnson picking up shares at undervalued numbers.
Yep.
So that could turn into a street fight, and it also could end up at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So
I just don't get it. I don't get how, how things were not paid, how much the things that you owe, you're still moving players. It seems like it's, day as usual. So it's very weird. It's very weird.
And so it's like you sit there, you make a transaction, but it's, when you make a transaction, you buy somebody, you got to kind of have the money to do it. Oh yeah, no, we're fine. Yeah, $8 million for Matt Turner. Yeah, we're fine. 21 million for Thiago. Yeah, we're fine. We're good. Yeah. And
I'll put it on my tab.
Yes, exactly. Put it on the under tab. It's like, yeah, we're good. We're good for it. Okay, so where is it? And you end up with judgments. Legitimately in this now, when it comes to the group stage in the Club World Cup, do you think distractions are going to be too much? Are they going to be able to take care of business? What does your gut tell you about how things are going to shape up?
I think the players, once they hit the field, and let me be very clear, if they hit the field, they're going to be up for it, and they're going to be excited, and they're going to be motivated to play against a top South American team. But look, yesterday we talked to Christian Roldan, and that is the face and the demeanor of someone that is getting pushed to the edge. That I'm not a killer, but don't push me. That's the way that Christian Roldan yesterday was talking about the negotiations and MLS. he basically said that MLS has been negotiated in bad faith. So right now, what I see is, and I've said this before, is a game of chicken. And if there is no resolution with the players' compensation, I don't know what's going to happen. Brian Smetzer told me that he has no fear that the players are not going to sit out and they're not going to protest in that fashion. I've heard from multiple sources that that's not out of the question. That's not off the table. So the vibes yesterday at training were once again two different dynamics. It feels like FIFA's in town because you got new pennies with the Club World Cup symbol on it. You got advertising, like signage all around, the training facility, which is kind of interesting. The training was good. Teams seem to be vibing, but once they come off and they start talking to certain situations, you could feel like there's something that's looming inside of them that they can't get rid of. And that distraction has, in my opinion, resulted in two poor performances. One against Vancouver that was embarrassing, to be quite frank. So can they get over that? I would hope that if things get done and there's a resolution between the PA and the league, that it all goes away. But I said this a couple of times this week. It is a human emotion to feel like if you're being jaded or if I got too many things on my mind, that I'm not going to be 100%, that I'm going to be a second too late on a decision, that I'm going to be a second too late on marking a space, that I'm not going to be as bought in as it possibly could be, that influences the way you run, the way you cover, everything that has to do with an athlete. So I really hope they can shake it off because, in my opinion, there's definitely this negative aura that I hope it goes away by Sunday.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on that as we go forward. Obviously, that'll be an underlying storyline as we go into Club World Cup and continue to work it forward. Right now, you get to focus on Club World Cup. There are a bunch of other folks that are going to be focusing on the second half of the season when it comes to Major League Soccer out west. It's going to be a full grid. When it comes to the second half of the season, outside of those folks that are going to be in Club World Cup, LAFC, Portland, et cetera, what are some of the things that you're keeping an eye on in the Western Conference as we are in the second half of the season and sprinting toward the playoffs? Because it'll be here before we know it because of Club World Cup and Leagues Cup. Those are, all of that eye candy in the department store window at Nordstrom's will kind of distract folks. But at the same time, it's like, damn, we're getting really close to all this stuff. So outside of what's in the Nordstrom's window, what else are you looking at in the Western Conference in the second half of the season?
I'm focused to see if the Timbers are contenders or pretenders. I mean, it feels like they have all the talent, even now with reports that Cabecita Rodriguez might be out for the season. That team has a lot of firepower up top. They have seemed to find a rhythm. Da Costa seems to be a guy that has adapted quickly to the league. So how far can they get? I think they're a team to watch because, again, the talent level and, can Neville put it all together finally and be consistent in all fronts. I'm also looking at St. Louis just to figure out who they are. And are they a mid-table? Are they going to stay in the basement of the Western Conference? The coaching changes always help out in the first game, but then after that you turn into reality. So how far can they go? San Jose is a team that I've been watching and excited about because of the Bruce Arena component, some of the acquisitions that they got. So where do they really fall? Can Christian Espinosa finally have maybe a run in the playoffs? So that's another team that I'm watching. And then you got to talk about the Sounders. The Sounders are a team that has shown sporadic moments where they're at their best. The Nashville game, some of the gritty wins against San Diego. I mean, this is a squad that there seems to be a talent level there that can hit the potential, but it feels like everything has to go their way for it to actually play out that way. And we're trying to figure out how far can the Seattle Sounders really get with the current squad. I'm looking to see if there's any acquisitions. I was very focused on the U22 spot, but I just made a call just yesterday to one of the guys that I knew that they were targeting, and there's nothing on the table. There's no negotiation. There's no talks. I'll probably say the name at some point whenever I figure out whether Seattle's no longer interested. But man, I'm wondering what the fan base would say if the transfer window comes and goes and nothing happens. So that's a big one for the Western Conference: is do the Seattle Sounders do the maybe unexpected and just ride with what they have, and I don't know, trust the process, or if they go and get somebody to come in and help out at the striker position where they definitely need the help. So those are the big headlines that I'm looking at.
What is the injury situation? I know that Jordan Morris had a setback recently. What is the state of health right now when it comes to Seattle in those positions that you're looking at that might be pursued come the summer window?
Look, Yammer Gomez-Andrade was not in practice yesterday, and that gives me a feeling that there's something there. He is such a key component for this team. He had a hamstring injury. You know, did he have a setback? Did he not? Because last week he was doing work on the ball. He was doing some resistance stuff. I mean, it seemed like he was trending positively, and not seeing him this week was interesting. So Brian said there's nothing new, but we'll see. He said it kind of in a coyish way, so we'll figure that out. Stu Hawkins, apparently 6 to 8 weeks for the youngster. A quad injury that Brian called a doozy. 6 to 8 weeks is a long time, and that's yet another injury. Kim Ki-hee was at practice as a partial participant. I would expect him to be available at least off the bench going into the Club World Cup. That's the way he seems to be trending to. But definitely doesn't look great for the Sounders at the center back position, and moving into a Club World Cup, there's going to be a tough task with the players that you have available as well. And Jordan Morris, as much as he's been part of training and he's trying to get back in, I do not expect him to play at all in the Club World Cup. Maybe against PSG, but do you really risk him at that point? I don't know, but I don't expect him to be part of the Club World Cup at all. If anything, maybe in the last game, but I just don't think it's very feasible.
LAFC has made a loan move. They did the tease on social media that they always do, where they're shipping the hat to somebody, and you always wonder who it's going to be that's going to sit there initially with the hat, and it's going to be the tucked chin, and you wonder what it's going to be and who lifts their head. And they go to Club America, and they get Javier Dilrosun, and the Dutch attacker, nasty left foot. And so it is a loan deal for Dilrosun to add to their stacks in the attack. They need it, but they make the loan move, and so
Also very pacey, extremely pacey. He's the guy that's good on 1v1 situations. The funny thing about this one, and I called my dad when I heard the news, because I actually watched the LAFC Club America game, and we were talking about Javier, and my dad's like, "Oh, where is he from?" We didn't really know. America is a team that gets a lot of South Americans. We thought that maybe he was from South America, and I was like, "Oh no, he's Dutch, but man, he's good. He's the guy that's been all over, just being a problem on that side." And I called my dad. I was like, "Man, like Javier was so good that LAFC went and got him." So it isn't an interesting move. It is at a position of need for them. I've said this time and time again. This LAFC team doesn't have those talented, just guys that will take you off balance like they've had in the past. Another guy at the other end of Denis Bouanga that's going to demand just the defense to shift to that side. I think Javier could provide that, man. Again, I have very limited time watching him, but when he does get on the field, man, that dude, he can work.
Yeah, that dude, like Marcellus Wiley, DATDUDE, he can be that given the chance. This weekend, obviously, once again, it's a mixed schedule with the Club World Cup. Let me ask you this, and we'll put this in the envelope. We'll seal the envelope. We'll put it away. Who do you think actually wins the Club World Cup? Who gives an ish enough to win the Club World Cup by the time we're done?
Wow. Ooh, I was not expecting that one.
Is it legitimately? Is it somebody like PSG where you sit there and it's just like you really get to see how bad a man Luis Enrique really is, depending on the competition? It's not going to matter. I mean, honestly, that sounds very chalkish to me, but that's kind of where I'm going. By the time we're done, I'm thinking that Luis Enrique proves once and for all that he is the biggest dog in the yard.
It'd be kind of cool for him to get another one in the same year. PSG certainly the favorites. I actually would think that a team like Inter Milan that got so close, they were kind of right there for the champions. They're going to have a additional motivation to give their fans something to kind of put their hat on, and they got a very talented squad. You saw it against PSG, a team that maybe was out of sorts in that game, and they could not make anything happen regardless of what they did. But they're interesting. Atletico de Madrid too. I mean, you look at that squad and you look at Koke and DePaul and Griezmann and Llorente. I mean, they have a very experienced squad, a team that could get farther out there. So I like both of those teams, either Inter Milan or Atletico. I'd have to really go back and look at how the breakdown's going to happen. But I like both of those teams.
Yeah. All right. So let's go into cliffhanger and break everything down. And I am going to do cliffhanger with Club World Cup too before we get out of here, because that's kind of where you are this weekend. You mentioned Portland and San Jose as two of the teams that you're keeping an eye on in the second half of the season. Friday Night Football is Portland hosting San Jose. Portland is a -116, which I find intriguing. Draws a +292. San Jose on the road a +275. Knowing you, I would probably drift toward the total and check that out first.
I do want to check that out, but I actually I'm encouraged to go for San Jose. Timbers is a team that is going to play you openly. Look, they have been doing very well at being more conservative on when they pressure, when they add numbers forward. But Bruce Arena is a guy that when you have a Achilles heel, he's going to expose it. He's going to take away a player that you can be sure of any time. So can he contain and take the Costa completely away from the game? I think he can. So I like San Jose in this one, but I'm curious about the total compost of the goals, because I feel like it's going to be one that has a lot of goals.
Okay, 3.5 is a +101. That's where it turns. 4 is a +170. 4.5 a +234.
The 3.5 would be a nice little addition there. I wouldn't want to go beyond that simply because I want to play it safe. Would I be shocked if this is the 3-2 banger? No, I would not be shocked. But I feel like for sure you're playing safe money with that 3.5.
All right. So on Saturday, I'm going to pass LAG going to all caps because it's LAG. Crew hosting Whitecaps. Columbus hosting Vancouver. I know folks are racing home from international windows and things like that, so we don't know who's going to be returning in time, all things being equal. Crew at home, a -123. The draw and Vancouver both a +290.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Columbus is a team that has been so hot and cold for me. When I've watched them play, it seems like they have a real hard time when offensively they can put the ball in the back of the net, specifically in the first half. Vancouver, for me, regardless of who's back, they're going to put their best squad out there. And after what they did to the Sounders with their B team, I'm not going to doubt that they can do that. Sorensen really beat Brian when it comes to the chess match between two coaches by playing 3 in the back. Brian was not expecting that. The way that Sorensen put that game together just tells me that this guy's got an edge on a lot of people. And if you're not seeing it yet, you better go ahead and check it out. So I know that Wilfred Nancy is Wilfred Nancy, but if he goes in there thinking it's going to be a walk in the park, Vancouver's going to give you some issues, man. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the draw.
Draw to +290. All right. So then on Saturday night, 8:40 Eastern time, 5:40 for you while you're focusing on other things. Minnesota United hosting San Diego. We don't know if Dane St. Clair, Robin Lod, Boxall, if they're going to be back in time, Oluwaseyi, etc. Minnesota United a plus 104. Draws a plus 250. San Diego FC on the road is a plus 242. What say you?
Yeah, this is one I had a hard time with, simply because Minnesota's defensive shape and the way they kind of go about their business, I think, can tame what San Diego does well. But at the same time, I'm intrigued by the numbers. So what's the compass on the goals real quick?
All right, so let's take a peek and find out what the numbers are, because if Dane St. Clair doesn't make it back, you're dealing with a second-string keeper going up against.
Exactly.
Over-under at the moment, 2.5, a minus 124. 3 is where it flips to a plus 138. 3.5 is a plus 201. So if you're thinking 2-2, you could get that at a plus 301, plus 201. And it goes at 4.5. It's a plus 475. But if you're thinking,
give me the draw and give me the 3.5. That sounds like a nice little setup there. I'm gonna write that one down. I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So there you go. You pop that one at a plus 201 on the total at a plus 3.5. Now, also on the board, since it's the last MLS game that I want to talk to you about, it's tonight, Thursday night football. Thursday night football, mind you, in the Bronx at the 106/68, according to Peter Vermes, at Yankee Stadium. Atlanta United, don't know who's racing back. Latte Lot probably will, considering all he had to do is fly from Toronto. So Atlanta United at NYC at the 106/68. None of the folks, according to Glenn Crooks for NYC, are going to start. They may not even be around. So it means that Bakrar is going to be up top. It means that Tomas Romero is going to be between the sticks instead of Matt Freese. 12 players for Atlanta United racing back from various parts of the planet, from Egypt and Eastern Europe, making their way back. This one could have street fight written all over it. Right now, NYC is a minus 111. It's changing and it's dipping toward Atlanta United. This one was in the neighborhood of minus 120, minus 128 yesterday. Down to minus 111 today. Draws a plus 265. Atlanta United, once again, coming back a little bit. They're at a plus 279 in the composite at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, man. Look, this was one that I was thinking, which team has more depth? Which team can adapt to things a little bit better? And although, just like what you're talking about, the odds shifting, I've shifted my mind from thinking that New York was going to be able to get the win to Atlanta maybe surprising us in this one. I really do think that Atlanta, although maybe not obvious in the results and some of the moments and mistakes that they currently have, I feel like at least offensively, the principles and the concepts are starting to feel like a team going somewhere. I'm going to go with Atlanta. I'm going to focus on the fact that I think Latla will be back. I think that the midfield is starting to give what Ronny Deila is looking for this season. The defense is always makes me just nervous to trust Atlanta. But I'm going to go with them. I think that New York City will be limited. They've been limited offensively regardless. I think Atlanta gets the score early. They handled the game. They managed it well. And they put New York City against the ropes.
There you go. Okay, so Club World Cup, we actually have juice boxes there, believe it or not.
Really?
Botafogo, a minus 119. Draw is a plus 266. Seattle, at home, mind you, is a plus 308. As they're the away team, technically. I don't know if this means they have to go change dressing rooms or whatever, that they have to go into the away dressing room. Botafogo listed as the home team. They're at a minus 119. Seattle's a plus 308 at home as the road team.
Yeah, man. Look, I don't dare to dream that the Sounders are going to get a win. We've just talked about everything starting the show about the feel, the distractions, the injuries. Botafogo might not be the Botafogo of 2024, not have the elite talents that maybe they had with Junior Santos and Thiago Almada, but this team is good. What I will say is that when I'm hearing that, you got Igor De Jesus, Cubano, and Jair Cunha possibly going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
When you have one foot out the door, what the commitment level is going to be there for those players, I don't know. And Igor De Jesus is such an important player for Botafogo, so I'm gonna go with the draw for this one, and he's going to be the 1 point that Seattle can rescue out of the group stage. And I'll say that because Botafogo has been in LA. They have yet to arrive. I think that the field's going to be tricky here with the new spongy grass. I feel like the traveling is going to put some wear and tear in some of these players that are not used to this sort of trip. We've heard that 1,000 times from South American teams. So I'm going to go with the draw. I'm going to give Seattle the benefit of the doubt that they get out there, they perform, they bring the intensity. That's what Christian Roldan said the team needed, intensity and effort. When you don't have the talent level, is what he said, or you're outmatched at the talent level, you close the gap by intensity and effort. I think Seattle does it. They'll make Botafogo chase them. They'll try to hold possession. If Seattle has anything over Botafogo, is the conditioning, the physicality. I think Seattle brings it, and they'll get a draw.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get heat for that. I'm gonna be called a homer, but that's fine.
I mean, you mentioned the triple signing. Forest reached a verbal agreement a little over a week ago to sign Igor Jesus, Cuyabano, and Jair Cunha from Nottingham Forest. No, I'm trying to see if there was a price tag attached. Now I'm to the point to where I'm like, are we getting price tags? Are we sitting there and it's like, are folks sitting there? Various reports put the combined fee for all three players in the region of 34 to 40 million euro, or 29 to 33 million pounds. 5-year contract said to be on the table for Jesus. O Globo. Jesus has moved to Forest, already been negotiated. Jair and Cuyabano agreements in place to link up with Nuno Espirito Santo's side. Negotiations are yet to be finalized, according to Nottinghamshire Live, as of like earlier today. Okay.
Yeah. So, anytime you got players already thinking about what's next, and then do you put them in bubble wrap? I mean, you're hoping that none of those players get hurt if you have already something signed in. So that I feel like gives Seattle a better chance. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that thing down today, probably, just to make sure that doesn't move at all. But yeah, I do feel like the draw is possible. Again, if Seattle was at their best, both on the health level, on the vibes level, on their current form level, I probably would risk to get them a win. But I think the draw is a safer bet.
All right. So what is going on when it comes to you and the perfectly coiffed lettuce without the hat and getting everything ready for the Club World Cup and everything up there in Seattle? What do folks need to be paying attention to with you?
Yeah, we'll start tomorrow with what we learned this week with Jeremiah O'Shan. We're going to see what happens, see if there's any news on the negotiations with the league and what are the consequences. I think that's what we're going to focus on. On the game, I'm actually going to be doing the post-game, I believe. Yep, the post-game show with Fox 13 Seattle. So we're going to do kind of like that NFL network type of situation there with, the stadium in the back. So go ahead and check that out. Support your guy right here. And then on Monday, of course, Love and Sports will break down the entire weekend, see what's going on, see what happened, what were the news, what were the big headlines with Ari Langelow on Love and Sports kickoff.
As always, my friend, great to see you. Great for the intel and the intelligence and breaking everything down. Club World Cup. We'll get into Gold Cup, obviously, next week. Because
that's going to be interesting, too.
So we got Club World Cup, we got Gold Cup, and we got MLS trying to squeeze the schedule in. So, yeah, we ain't busy for nothing. As always, my friend, love you very much. We'll catch up with you next week.
You're the man, John.
All right. There goes Niko Moreno. All right. So gossip, rumor, and innuendo before we get out of here. And we'll see if we can fill in any holes with anybody moving, anybody shaking, who's going where, who's doing what you can watch, where to watch it, and how to watch it. Now, Liverpool set to swoop in for PSG's Bradley Barcola, even after completing a deal for Florian Wirtz, 3-letter paper. Villa, Newcastle, Spurs, monitoring developments with Jadon Sancho after the England winger returns to Manchester United following his loan spell at Chelsea. Everton and Newcastle leading the race to sign Jack Grealish for Manchester City this summer. Leverkusen considering a move for Gerald Kwanzaa from Liverpool. Darwin Nunez likely to leave Liverpool this summer, with Al Hilal making contact about the 25-year-old this week. That's from TalkSport. Nunez, though, is understood to favor staying in Europe, with a move to Spain or Italy being his preference. That's from the Mirror. Athletic Bilbao hopes to agree to a pay rise and a contract extension with Niko Williams to stave off interest in Bayern Munich, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Williams told Bayern he's open to a move to Germany, and his management is in talks with the Bundesliga champs. Leroy Sané rejected an offer from Al Hilal and agreed to join Galatasaray after talks over a new contract at Bayern have failed. Everton, Wolves, Fulham eyeing a move for Vladimir Kufal, who's a free agent after leaving West Ham. Forest are rivaling Leeds and Sunderland for left-back Reinildo, who's out of contract at Atletico Madrid this summer. Betis have offered a 3-year deal to Junior Firpo, whose Leeds contract is set to expire, although the 28-year-old's also considering an offer to stay at Ellen Road, and another from Lyon. Chelsea have put Georgi Petrovic up for sale. Leeds among the clubs interested in signing him. Petrovic asked not to be a part of the Club World Cup roster so he could focus on a move. Manchester City close to reaching an agreement to sign Rosenborg's midfielder Severa Naipan. River Plate's Mastantuono agreed to join Real Madrid. We talked about that with our buddy Nino Torres. Rodrigo wants to stay at Real Madrid and establish himself under Xabi Alonso. That is from Marca. That came out earlier today. Quick turn of what else might be going on. Once again, Thomas Frank looks like that is officially official. As everything has squared itself away with the backroom staff. Sané is going to play for Bayern in the Club World Cup until the contract expires, flying to America Friday before joining Galatasaray in July. Napoli, within the last half hour, have confirmed Kevin De Bruyne joining on a free after leaving Manchester City. They have the director's chairs and the handshake photo to prove it. Matheus Cunha officially signing on the bottom line at Manchester United. £62.5 million fee, signed a 5+1. Quote from Matheus Cunha was attached. Also on the board, £12.5 million fee on the Severa Naipan deal, according to David Ornstein and Ben Jacobs. Villa misses out despite holding advanced talks. 5-year contract ahead of a medical. It's going to go out on a season-long loan, 25-26, but the club is still determined. Once again, the move finalized with Thomas Frank should be formalized within 48 hours. They agreed on the $10 million plus the backroom staff. It was Justin Cochran decided to join as his assistant, despite Brentford pushing him to stay, even adding him to the shortlist to be head coach. Scotty Tuhati and Kieran McKenna now are the two names of interest for Brentford to take over as a head coach. Let's see, quickly, a quote from Leroy Sané on the move. Trent Alexander-Arnold had his press conference, started it off with a Hala Madrid, and went from there. Looks like the Sané deal is going to be a 3-year deal with Galatasaray. Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to wear number 12. Expected to make his debut against Al Hilal on June 18. Lee Johnson, appointed head coach at Lommel, follows a successful interim spell, having kept the side up last year. Johnson, well thought of at CFG, having also previously worked as a coach within it. So he's staying at Lommel as the head coach. Marseille set to sign C.J. Egan-Riley. Burnley confirming the 22-year-old leaving to pursue an opportunity in France, in quotation marks. Egan-Riley had a pre-agreement with Strasbourg before Marseille hijacked the deal, according to Jacobs, offering more money. Strasbourg was not prepared to increase their terms. John Textor, according to Jacobs, does not have a controlling influence in Crystal Palace, owns less than 30%, according to Jacobs, compared to the 44.9% that was disclosed in the Guardian article this morning. So right now, it's trying to figure out where the massage is in the numbers. Once again, Forrest writes UEFA over the alleged breach, and we're more than happy to sell. Sell Matt Turner to you. That'll happen. UEFA do not construe Textor as holding a controlling influence at Palace. Recognize the value of having the Eagles in Europa following their FA Cup win over Manchester City. Textor publicly acknowledging he has little or no influence at Palace, even calling his stake the most expensive season ticket in football. Back in 23, he also revealed he was not involved in recruitment, development, or commercial activities. And UEFA are in favor of keeping Palace in the Europa League. Diluted his shares in Eagle Football, now owns around 55%. Eagle Football owns 43% of Palace. Textor's own stake understood to be less than 30%. So that's where the numbers are. There'll be a test on this later on. Rain Group also currently in the process of trying to sell this as well. Crystal Palace are not legally, according to TalkSport, part of a multi-club model, have not used Eagle Holdings Network to build or benefit their football model. Crystal Palace also had no reason to engage with or find remedy for the March 1st deadline set to resolve multi-club issues. Controlling shareholders don't own any of Lyon, had no knowledge at the time of the deadline as to whether the French club was placed in a blind trust. Understood Texter didn't want to place his own shares in a blind trust as he's trying to sell them. So that is the TalkSport version of Crystal Palace from Ben Jacobs as it was released yesterday. And Woody Johnson chasing after shares as we go. Now, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Sergi Boyko, the man in the middle tonight. Jeffrey Schwartzel, Stephen McGonigal, Ricardo Montero Araya, your ARs in your fourth. J.C. Rivero and Jonathan Johnson are upstairs. Now, let's get into what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it with everything going on. It is the breakdown of what to watch on TV. Spanish Segunda Promotion Playoffs, Mirandes and Racing Santander is at 3 o'clock. That's on ESPN Deportes. Once again, remember Sika and Sam on Apple TV, NYCFC and Atlanta United, 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app. Maddie and Abe, 6:30, Five Stripes Countdown, full-time report for a full hour after. We'll have Neil Sika on the show at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning Eastern Time. Omaha and Greenville and USL League One's also on the plus. MLSNextPro.com has 4 matches tonight. Crew 2, NYC 2 at 6. Toronto FC 2 and Inter Miami 2 from York University at 7. Loons 2, Dynamo Dos at 8. Vancouver Whitecaps and LA FC 2 at 9 o'clock, all at MLSNextPro.com. So tomorrow, it is a Friday. We'll break everything down, and we'll let you know what's heading into the weekend. Once again, Club World Cup's going to start. MLS is going. They ain't stopping. They're taking breaks for Gold Cup. I know that Christian Pulisic was on Golazo Network this morning, and he pushed his chips into the center of the table involving his own interest and coaches wanting continuity. And so that was what the back and forth was like there. You can see those clips on social media as that back and forth continues, and it will continue and continue and continue as you get ready for the Gold Cup. Now, once again, tomorrow we'll go over Atlanta United and NYC. See if our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring can join us. 10 o'clock, Neil Sika will be joining us to break down everything that happens tonight, plus the weekend and Club World Cup and everything else on Neil's mind. 10:30, we'll go over weekend whip around, patent pending, trademark coming sooner, hopefully, rather than later. As always, it's great to see all of you. And Kefsi, yes, Derek, we are playing soccer in a bathtub tonight. That is absolutely true. Kefsi says that with this international break, supposed to be one of the benefits of the Muranchuk signing. I'd lost hope. Finally hit one of his trademark hot streaks, so that's one of the streaks isn't over. Doesn't always score, but when he has a good match, he can contribute 2 or more goals a match through assists or goals. Been something he's done his whole career, but then disappear like we've seen too. And morning forecard. So yeah, it will be interesting to see Alexei Miranchuk and Kefsi and how it pictures tonight. I'm intrigued with the starting 11. I'm intrigued once again with Cooper Sanchez and Nick Sesek attached to the game day squad. Go back and listen to the Ronny Deila interview that he had with Jason and Maddie. If you haven't yet, it's on our audio platforms. You can go back and listen to it as well. It's a great in-depth dive into Ronny Deila that could have gone a lot longer. They opened the door. It was a great conversation. So that is your required listening for the day, is the interview that we have up on your favorite podcatcher with Maddie and Jason and Ronny Deila. So that is another show. We'll be back at it in less than 22. 9:05 tomorrow morning, breaking everything down, getting you ready for the weekend across the board, multiple competitions, a lot of stuff. As always, thanks for dropping by. Thanks to Maddie. Thanks to Jarrett. Thanks to Nino. Thanks to Niko. Thanks to you for being a part of SDH here every single day. Since it is the end of the show, that means I get to do this. Back at it again, 9:05 tomorrow morning. Action tonight at the 106 by 68 in the Bronx. We'll see you then.